What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of All Love, and we like to call this segment In Her Words or In His Words.
Yep.
We have a special guest today.
Jay, aka Janelle. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
I'm super excited to have you. I was like, we have to get Jay on there. So,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk and chat.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be a great conversation. If you don't know, Keshia and Jay had a great interview on Jay's podcast.
Yes, we did.
Which is, what's the name of the podcast?
Yeah, Jay, go ahead and tell them the name of your podcast.
Yeah, of course. The Pentecostal Backslider is the name of my podcast. It talks about deconstruction, finding your way out of things and into things and transitions. And there are a few episodes of me rambling, so if you like the sound of my voice, you can go ahead and give a listen.
It's great. Awesome, actually.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
Okay, Jay. Why don't you tell our audience who you are?
Of course,
Who is
of course.
Jay?
Who is Jay? That's a great question. So, I'm Jay. My full name is Janelle. I go by either one. I'm from Pennsylvania. I am 25 years old. Let's see. I love singing. I love everything having to do with like the arts. I like theater. I know, theater kid. Yikes, I just outed myself. You're a theater kid too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel safe now. There's someone else here. And you're the odd one out, Keshia. You're not the theater kid. No, but I did like 2 shows growing up, but I wanted to do more, but you know. Anyways, I love all things spirituality, intuitive people, tarot cards, astrology, crystals, energy. Like lately I've been just hearing so clearly from the universe, and it's fun because I feel like they're speaking with like numbers with me now, and like even like through podcasts, and I'm happy to be here because hopefully I can speak to someone. Yeah. Oh my gosh, maybe I'm gonna speak to someone. Maybe it's will use me, but yeah, even from the simplest things, I just feel like I am in tune, a little more tune than I was the past couple months, and we can get into that as well. But yeah, basically I'm a chill girl. I would say, okay, so I fall underneath the queer umbrella, I would say. So you know, she, her pronouns or they, them pronouns work for me. Really either one works, so don't feel obligated to like use one if you don't feel, you know, doesn't feel natural to you. It's cool with me either way.
Okay.
Cool, and thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Vulnerability on 10. I appreciate
it. Thank you.
Hi, Jay. So, as you know, our show, All Love, is all about love and people's journey on love. About love, lessons, all of that. So, let's get into that.
Yes.
When you were younger, I would say like high school age, what were your thoughts on love in general? Like, were you a hopeless romantic? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I am a self-proclaimed crush girl. When I was in grade school, crushes ruled my brain. Like the prefrontal cortex was not developing because I was crushing on someone hard. Okay, like I loved love. I loved the idea of. I think I just was in love with the notion of love, like falling in love, being loved, having attention, giving attention, that like that space where it just felt, you know, warm and perfect. And I was always chasing after that. Now, mind you, I grew up in a predominantly white school setting, so that love was not reciprocated in the way I thought it should have been at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of always like chasing after this feeling of being fulfilled, this feeling of being like, having that mutual receptive love, and always being like out of my grasp. Like I could see it for other people happening for, you know, maybe some of my friends, but it wasn't happening for me. And that was devastating. In middle school more so. High school, I kind of, you know, I don't know. Yeah, we'll get into that. But growing up, love was very much on a pedestal in my life.
Wow.
My parents have been married for like 30 years, so I know it's possible. And I guess I just really thought romantic love was the most important form of love for a while. Now, I don't think that anymore. I think that platonic love is super important, like love between the girlfriends. And we can get into that actually. Second half of high school, I found a great group of friends, and these girls actually, we all probably saved each other's lives through high school. My best friend Tiki, my best friend Yvonne, Taylor, we all really, I would say we really invested in our platonic friendships, and I'm still friends with them to this day. Like, I still talk to each one of them. And we graduated high school in 2016. It's 2023 right now. Wow, time really flies. But that platonic love between friends is what served me, but that romantic love is what, like, kind of guided me, I guess, or had my attention. But yeah, that was kind of my understanding of love growing up.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty deep. I mean, did you feel like, when you were saying like the platonic love, did you feel that like, since you weren't finding that love experience happening for you, you were able to sort of work your way through that, through the experiences of your friends, you know?
Yes.
And do you think that they were also going through that same thing? Okay, right. So,
Absolutely. I was gonna say, we were in the trenches together. We were absolutely in the trenches together, but it was like one of those stories. It's like, the true love is just the friendship we had all along, but like in a not cheesy way. But we were absolutely in the same boat, and I think that's why we kind of, because we all had similar experiences as women of color growing up in a predominantly white school. It's just kind of and also who had similar interests and similar like senses of humor and energies. I think our energies really, I think that our our spirit guides like connected us together, because honestly, these girls are like, I just went out with two of them in late December, and it was my first time going out with one of them because she had to move halfway through high school. So we're finally out, like, 25 years old, all out together, doing the thing. And it just felt like, wow, this is the reason why I'm alive, to hang out with my friends. It like gave me like life purpose again, those relationships. So that's much deeper than any like high school fling could ever serve
for sure.
me. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you have dating experience then when you were younger?
Yeah, I would say, okay, so I did have a boyfriend in like early high school, but I would say that was more of a like, excuse me, I think it was just a time to see, this guy was not great. So I wouldn't say it was I don't want to say it was the romantic love that I was looking for, but I settled for his attention, and that attention actually required a lot of me, emotionally and physically and mentally. So I would say that was a really unbalanced, unhealthy starter to relationships, but I was just so gung-ho and being loved that I would kind of take what I could get, and I thought that's what I could get. I thought that was the best at the time, and so I did it. And even though it did end up harming me in the long run, it was just something that it was a lesson I just had to learn, because I was so gung-ho on it. Some things people can tell you, but you just have to live through it yourself to know, okay, I don't like that. So that was one of those.
Yeah, I feel like we all learn through experience. Sometimes, and as much as we hate it when we're going through it, it's important to get those like heartbreaks and like mistakes made. It honestly leads you, I think it shapes you towards your ultimate, your forever partner, or even if that exists, but what your idea of love is making those mistakes so young.
Yeah, a lot
absolutely.
of us learn through love, or what we think is love, rather. So can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, the love that was a game changer for you? Like, what did you learn the most, good or bad, but like a game changer? Wow, I got that down.
Okay. So I am not going to name drop, but I will astrology drop.
Get 'em.
I will astrology drop. A game changer love. What love was between me and an Aries. And this, I'm a Virgo sun. He's an Aries sun. Very much, first of the zodiac, Aries. For those of you listening who don't know what some Aries qualities are, we're given fiery. We're given first of the zodiac. We're giving headstrong. We're giving very much love bomb, a love bomber type of person.
Yeah.
Love bomber. We're giving someone who's also detached and elusive, can't really follow through.
Wow.
We're giving somebody who treats you like a trophy. Yeah, is proud of you, show you off, but you're collecting dust up there. And so that love was it was a college love, okay? So and it was kind of devastating for me because I wasn't even 21 yet, okay? I was like 20. He was maybe 22. So not a huge age gap, but a difference in activities you can participate in when you're in college, right? So he could go to the bars, I could. So if we can get into attachment styles, we can get into attachment styles too, okay? So I think that I have the anxious attachment style, and he might be avoidant, I don't know. But at the time, I felt like I really was craving that love bombing attention, that, same thing in high school that I was like, oh, I just want to be loved, I want to be accepted, and this person's interested in me, so I should be interested in them. And for a little bit there, it was kind of magical. For a week and a half, it was kind of magic. Because I was getting that attention, but as soon as the rug is pulled out from underneath of you, you're out there starving, okay? Yeah. You're out there kind of I was left in the deep end without any type of life raft. So in that love, I felt like I was a little bit suffocated because there were glimpses, maybe within a whole week, there was maybe 2 hours or 2 to 4 hours when I got a glimpse of what that love bombing attention felt like, and then it was cold for the rest. So it was very hot and cold. And it was very challenging for me mentally because I was in school, taking classes, being an RA, had lots of responsibilities, had a bright future. But for some reason, all I could think about or focus on was this relationship. And that was a game changer mentally because I realized how I didn't want someone else to have that power over me mentally about how I felt about myself. Right? I learned what it feels like to give that power away and to experience self-betrayal type of heartbreak. And that's the worst heartbreak because when you look back at what happened, you're like, wow, I really left myself in that relationship, and I don't know if I can trust myself. And this person's not even here to pick up the pieces. So I think that self-betrayal was a game changer, and he was a catalyst for it. And not to say that it's all his fault because I probably, did some petty things in there too. So we're all on our journeys, but we met each other at that time for a reason. And he tried to come back into my life last year. Ew. Maybe 2 years ago. We hadn't talked in 5, maybe 3 or 4 years. And I actually had met someone else who was similar to him, and I was shutting the door on that relationship as well. And so as I was trying to shut that other fire sign relationship door, he texted me and was like, hey, I was like, do not send me a live photo of our first date. Okay, that's not going to reel me back in. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. He was trying to gas it. He was trying. Oh, man. And that's how I knew Spirit was sending me messages. It was like, you're closing the door on the cycle. This is the final boss of abusive relationships. Yeah. Can you handle it? And so, he's blocked.
Nice. Yeah.
Serious.
See, people don't know. I love that you said that because people don't realize sometimes the universe will give you a test exactly what you think you might need. It's a real tempting to go back. But when you show the universe, I'm done. Can
we chill with the fire signs acting out? Because you're making us all look bad.
I'm about to say,
wait, you guys are?
No, she's a Leo.
No, he's a Gemini.
Oh, okay, Gemini, Leo.
But I'm
okay.
Big Leo energy.
Yeah, big Leo energy. Right.
So she's fiery.
But fiery. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say fiery.
I don't have enough wind to blow her out. So. ain't enough
You
wind in
just
the
fan
world.
her up.
Well, that, I just say,
You
look,
just
baby,
fan it up. She
just
gets
come
bigger.
on, keep the fire down a little bit, please.
But let's not talk about all the Aries in my chart.
Ooh,
no.
You have a lot of Aries.
I
Yeah.
have
You
a
know,
lot of
Aries.
fire.
Aries can be good for getting stuff started, I think.
Go
But
get
just
her.
Aries men, I just can't sometimes with certain signs and certain genders.
Let's hope my brother's not watching.
Oh,
Oh, he's Aries.
all tea, all shade.
But can we talk about the self-abandonment? She called it self-betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like gold to us because we talk about that all the time. We both have had similar situations where we coined it as self-abandonment. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's
for
real
sure.
thing.
Like, and you
It's
don't
aggressive.
even know, right? You don't even know that it's a thing until it wasn't a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's gone, you realize, like you said, I love what you said about the analogy of, picking up the pieces of yourself and there's no one there to help you. The person who broke it is gone.
It's
So,
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are feeling completely, vulnerable, and you realized how you abandoned yourself. And it's really tough, believe it or not, to not repeat that cycle. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have done that.
Because once you're in that habit, in that cycle of like, I don't deserve this, I'm not good enough for this, and you begin to sell yourself short out of that place of self-abandonment. You begin to maybe do some negative self-talk that really gets rooted into, your identity, and it's really hard to shake. And, it's really challenging to heal from because healing isn't linear. It's not like, okay, one day I'll be over this. Like, the wounds are deep, and sometimes it takes, like, okay, I think a period of singleness can be really healthy for those of you who might be going through this right now.
Oh, yeah.
A period of singleness to heal, but also some healing happens in partnership, and that is what I'm learning as well in my relationship, which it's a happy ending. I have an awesome boyfriend now. He's fabulous.
Yes.
And
Love it.
there is definitely some healing that is happening in it as well, because I'm noticing things about myself like, oh, I do that. Being vague about it. Oh, I do things that aren't perfect. As a Virgo, it's just kind of like, really?
Accountability.
Accountability.
I love it.
That's
And some stuff can only come up in relationships, some stuff in, friendships, some stuff on your own. Take your time to feel out what is best for you, and as it comes up, be gentle with it, because if you scare it away, like if you're trying, think of it like you're trying to hurt a cat. Like you see a stray cat outside. I love cats. Like you see a stray cat outside and it's a little scared, it's been a little feral maybe, but you have a warm place upstairs and you have a bed and you're trying to catch it, you're trying to coax it into your little carrier with its food and be gentle with it, love on it, because if you're jarring with it, it'll scratch you up, and then you have to build that trust with yourself again. Is what I'm saying. As if it's like a small. You have to build that trust with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a small animal.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Because once you make one bad decision, you're like, oh shit.
Right.
I don't want to do that again. Can I trust myself, my intuition, my feelings, my gut? Can I trust myself again? To be vulnerable again?
Right.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I've said those exact words to myself after a really hard relationship. Like, I don't even trust me enough to do this, especially when you do it again. And I think that's the part that for me was hard. Was like looking for and realizing the pattern of like, man, I keep choosing people that are like this. I'm not getting out of this. And that's what, like you said, you had the option. He's coming back out as soon as you're closing the door. And it's almost like you're trying to close the door and someone's pushing it open, and then his head pops in and you're like, no, you two, everybody out.
Get your ass out of here.
And then and I feel like, yes. And that's when I feel like that's when it's like you gotta, like you said, a period of singleness where you can recover, lick your wounds, figure out who you are, what is healthy.
But another part to that is, if you are attracting these people over and over again, instead of just cutting them off, do you ever consider you? What's up with you?
Yes.
What are you projecting? What are you sending? What's going on with you that you're continuing to attract this? And that was my biggest thing, is saying, what am I doing? Because I used to say, damn, I keep attracting the same type. And then I would get frustrated and blame them. But I'm like, what is it about me?
Right.
I'm not loving me. I don't even know who I am.
And you know, you say, why am I attracting these people? But I have kind of a different perspective on that. So I maybe I read a tweet and it's stuck in my brain, but I imagine it that, right, we attract all kinds of people, but we only give attention to the same type of people. So that's what I would say happened. Like, so in my current relationship, he is not like the rest of the bozos, but I had to be intentional about about focusing my energy where the good stuff is at, because there's a lot, because, you know, I might be used to, you know, that bozo energy, and turning, so it's like about shifting my focus. Like, there's plenty of efficiency, there's plenty of people who would love to get to know me, and I have to be able to see myself as I have to love myself first to get that perspective of myself, and then say, hey, let me choose someone who honors this version of myself as well. Let me choose someone who can align with that energy, instead of, oh, I hate myself, this guy's giving me attention. Right. It makes me feel the same way, the butterflies, let me just do this again because this is what I know. You know? Right. Yeah. That's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, great perspective.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That is a great perspective also.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Let's go, Jay, with the life coach.
Y'all hear that, y'all? Y'all listening up? All right. Take some notes now. This is it's a class, it's a lesson.
Oh my gosh, it's a master class.
How to bounce back. Right.
So how to bounce back. My next question is a little bit different, because to all the love lovers out there, Jay is our first of the queer community. Yeah, y'all don't come for me because I'm not familiar with all the terms. So it's okay. What she said. And so you are the first face of that community on our show. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us in the beginning.
Of course.
Will you tell us a little bit about your experience with the same sex?
Yeah, of course.
And is it different from, the opposite sex? Is it like, what is your experience?
My experience. Yeah, so I fall under like the LGBTQ. If you're listening and you're LGBTQ, what's up, everybody? You're welcome in this space. You're represented. Yes, so my experience with the same sex. Okay. So I would say it has been different because I was never really primed to think that being queer is okay. So, being like out of the closet with like family has been a bit of a journey. And it hasn't been something that I've really like leaned into, as far as like having like a same-sex partner, being, this is my girlfriend. So, that part of me has kind of been tucked away for so long. It's kind of tender, it's kind of gentle. However, you know, we are who we are, and my relationships with other women usually show up in the form of like really tight-knit, close friendships that err on the side of codependency. And that's another thing I learned about myself, that I can be a very codependent person. Again, maybe that's that attachment style jumping out, maybe it's that, I don't know, childhood trauma, whatever, jumping out as well. But those relationships have been very, very like intimate, as far as like we know everything about each other, we're friends, but we're like, it's more than friends, but it's not, but it's like not clearly defined. And I also had to learn a lot about boundaries through these relationships. But ultimately, I enjoy just existing in that space of just being like being a spirit being, having a human experience. You know what I'm saying? And not being so bogged down by having a specific label or being a one way or the other, and just letting myself experience life within healthy boundaries and clear communication with everyone involved. But it wasn't always like that. I would say my previous relationships with women have been a little bit convoluted and challenging. And yeah, I guess that's what I can say about them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a little vague. You're welcome.
No.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like that's how love, I think, is spiritual. I will not speak for LGBTQ, although y'all are welcome here, and I do appreciate you, speaking on behalf, sharing your story, But I do feel like that's the journey of love. I think at the end of the day, love is love, regardless of gender. And I feel like that's how it is. Sometimes you don't know where you are. Like you get to a point where you're like, I think even in the dating process, I think I was at a point where I was like, okay, time out.
Take a break.
This is becoming too much, and I'm looking for this specific thing. And so all the trial and error sometimes takes a break of understanding where you are and what you want. So
you have to get intentional about it. Yeah,
that's right.
And I guess, excuse me. I'm sorry. I knew it was gonna come. 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
I would say also, like, those relationships have been really challenging for me to even, like, think about or talk about, because we're no longer friends anymore. It started off as, like, for some of them, it started off as, like, a really close friendship, and then it kind of just went off the rails in the pandemic where, I was no longer welcome in their lives, and it was a surprise, and it was kind of shocking. So talking about it, I'm like, am I able to talk about this experience? Because am I the bad guy here, right? Like,
sure.
What do I have to say about that? But I think I've forgiven myself for that version of myself and those decisions. But it's still kind of like, it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of something that just sits inside me.
Okay.
Do
you think that you've had a chance to, like, grieve the relationships?
Yes, I definitely think that I have grieved those relationships, and I just kind of in the process of, I guess, reflection and thinking about, okay, where did it go wrong? And I think codependency is a big culprit there for where it went wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
I love how you can root that back in, like, what about you? Because it's easy to say, well, that person did this and this person did that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to realize that, every, especially relationship, is hopefully mutual. So you join into it, right?
Yeah, it was definitely both of us.
Right. And there's always a reason that you may contribute to it too. People may have a feeling about you, to send you away.
Exactly. And my thing is, like, I just want to send, when I think about it, I just want to send healing energy and love to it, because it was tough for both of us. And, I just want to send the best and not be so anxious in my head about everything. Just let it be what it is, and send my love and move on to my next thing, because my life is still great.
Yes.
Period.
Always. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Love that.
Of course.
So,
thanks for asking.
Jay, for those who don't know, recently just moved back stateside.
Yes.
She was living in some pretty waters.
Yeah.
Jay, would you like to share a little bit about that?
Of course, I would love to share. So I was in Mexico for a couple months in last year, and it was fantastic. I was in Merida, Mexico. For those of you who are listening, it's in the Yucatan Peninsula, about 4 hours away from Cancun, and it's the capital of the Yucatan. It's a very hot place to be, especially in the summer months. Yes. Whoa now. Temperature wise. And humidity. It was very warm. And I actually have dreams about that place a lot lately. I've been dreaming about it a lot.
Wow.
But I really loved it there. I learned a lot about myself. I was down there to do some self-discovery, made some friends along the way, ate lots of yummy food, went to the beach. It was a really beautiful time in 2022. Great time.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, what was your experience, you think, being an American living in Mexico? I think, and that's probably, like, for me, as someone who's never been or doesn't necessarily desire to be an expat.
I was just about to say that.
Never had a desire to be an expat. I'm married to someone who thinks this is great, so I have to consider it. But
you give it a try.
but what was your experience as a black expat in an American living in Mexico?
Well, I would say that I definitely turned a lot of heads because they don't see a lot of black girls with locks down there, which was okay. I would say I was very much welcomed. Everyone was so kind. Well, okay, there were maybe like two or three interactions that were a little bit, but out of like a lot of like the thousands of interactions I've had, it was like 1,000 to 3. Everyone wanted to know like, oh, where are you from? Because they knew my Spanish was not perfect. I knew how to say some things. So they'd ask, where are you from? I'd say Pennsylvania, the United States, this, that. I was definitely like an outsider because it's a very homogenous community. I lived in like a little neighborhood area in the north of the city, but in the center of the city, lots of like tourists come, but usually American tourists are white. So being a black American tourist was, a different experience. But there was also a big community of African Americans who are moving down there, living the expat life. Yeah, there's a Facebook group called Brothers and Sisters of Merida, and it's just basically black folks who want to go down there, who are down there, who have come back. And I've met my roommates through that group, like some meetups and stuff. And so, yeah, I was able to build community pretty quickly and pretty easily, which was essential to my experience there. And yeah, so that was, don't sleep on Facebook, y'all. Those Facebook groups, if you're an expat, you need your Facebook account, okay? To make it happen. So that was my American experience there.
Wow, so you were able to build a community. I love that. I mean, and it's so funny because we're everywhere. I think like people don't realize how much black people like we travel. It's not, even if you see a movie. When's a movie you've ever seen of there's a black family that picks up and goes?
Honestly, all I can think about is freaking Us with the whole movie. They have to pack it up and get out of there. They're in the United States. Black family has to get up and move. Us wants to do.
Us, yeah, right. It's got to be some horror, right?
Yeah.
No, but I love that and they say you've had that experience because if you think about just the dangers of Mexico, all of these things in our mind that shapes like, okay, you don't want to be outside of the tourist zone. You don't want to, and so for someone to say, well, I live there, and not just as an American, but as an African American, it's huge. That's a huge deal, and I love it.
You always have to do your research. Thank you. And Merida is like the safest city in all of Mexico, which is why I went there. Yeah, super safe, super safe. So like you can walk you can go for a walk at like 4 a.m. and no one really bothers you. Go say hi. Yeah, exactly. Come on out.
Don't give my wife no ideas.
So,
all right.
Anyway,
it's very safe.
Yeah. So I asked that question, Jay, because I know that you are in the same relationship now that you were before you moved to Mexico.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know about the long distance and the challenges and like all of it. Give it to us.
Okay.
Yes, of course. So I have a lovely boyfriend that we've been dating for maybe like a year and a few months, but we've been talking for almost 2 years at this time. And our whole relationship has been long distance. Stateside, I'm in PA, he's in Florida, or wherever he is in the world. Sometimes he goes to Colombia, comes back. So we were kind of used to long distance. He always says, he says planes fly, and I'm like, okay, planes fly. So he's always been supportive of me going out places and living my life because he wants me to be happy. He wants me to find myself. He doesn't want me to hold back for a relationship. And so a lot of FaceTime calls, a lot of phone calls. We make it a point to touch base at least once a day, at the end of the day if possible. And then he actually came down to Mexico to help me move out at the end of my time there. So it was really great to have him. I could show him my favorite spots, go to the beach, and he helped me carry my big heavy bags to get to the plane in Cancun. So it was really wonderful. It was kind of the same vibe as it always has been, just in Mexico. So it wasn't a huge difference to be in a different country.
Okay. So love on the beach.
Yeah.
The beach sounds nice.
Or whatever.
The beach
I
is
mean, a little
great.
Mexican food sounds nice.
You know what I'm saying? And it's for the low. Yeah.
For the low too.
It's for the low. Like $1 is equal to like 20 pesos, or like usually like 17 to 20. So you can, you know, you can make your little $5 stretch down there.
Wow.
You really
That
can.
is good to know.
Yeah, you should come on down. I'm telling you, that's why so many Black Americans go down there. It's safe. It's a Black community. You know, it's affordable. I mean, inflation's happening everywhere, but compared to like New York City, it's like dirt cheap.
Yeah, right.
So very affordable.
Yeah.
You might have to skid, you know, test the water.
Maybe like a vacation. Yeah, just do a vacation, test it out, see if it's for you.
I'm talking 2024, 2025.
Listen, we've had this discussion so many times.
You guys
She's
just
up
do
to
it.
ready to go. But you know,
Yeah,
I do love the idea of it. You know, it sounds great. But I mean, I love America. You know, I love.
Okay, and that's okay. You can love both. You can. Some
It's
people
true.
do the cold weather here, down there, so it's warm. But I would say keep your summers in the States, because that June through August weather is something serious. Like it is like 110 degrees in the heat of the day.
Wow.
So, you know, but the September through like the last part of the year, you're given 80s, 90s at tops. It's very comfortable at that time. But you guys definitely should just, if anything, check it out and, you know, see for yourself. Maybe somewhere else is a better fit. But Merida, I'm always going to champion it.
Yeah. So do you plan to go back?
Maybe. I've been dreaming about it a lot lately, so maybe I should go back for a little bit. But right now, I'm back stateside, Pennsylvania. I just felt like my time there was like expiring, and so I just listened to my spirit and came back.
Cool.
Love it.
So what is next for you, Jay? I know you have your podcast, the Backslider.
Awesome name.
Back. Thank you. Thank you.
Jay also does tarot readings and a bunch of mystic loving type of things.
I do.
So what's next for you? What you got popping?
So this new year, we have a few goals. We do. So this is a little unrelated, but I'm just going to put it out there. I recorded an album last year with my band. And we never released it.
Okay.
So I'll be releasing an album this year. I'm just going to put it out there. Yeah, or an EP. It'll be a couple of songs. So I'm going to release some music. You can find me at the Pentecostal Backslider on TikTok and on Instagram. I love to give tarot readings and oracle card readings and even astrology stuff. So I've been taking a little break from my podcast, the Pentecostal Backslider. However, I want to rev that up again, maybe starting sometime in February. So to be continued on that, to be TBD. But yeah, you can find me at the Pentecostal Backslider on TikTok, which is like my most active social media site. So I would say TikTok and then Instagram. And then Jay and the Juice is the name of the band. So I'll post my Jay and the Juice stuff on my Pentecostal Backslider.
But I'm still on the whole album thing that I didn't even know that you
I know. I need to be more vocal about it, which is why I mention it now, because I'll just like keep it to my little corner of the internet and be like, oh, it's not good enough. But like I'm a perfectionist, you know, like I want it to be whatever. We're working it out. The guys and I are working it out. But yeah, that's what's next for me.
Well, congratulations.
Yes,
thank you.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Thank you so
we
much.
Definitely will be promoting. We'll be supporting. Let us know how we can.
Thanks,
for sure.
Guys.
I thoroughly enjoy your TikToks and your.
Oh, thank you.
Y'all, Jay is a whole personality. She was kind of modest today.
Yeah.
But
talk about authentic person, like.
Oh, my heart is swelling with love right now.
See, we don't just invite anybody
All
on
the
the
love.
show, okay? No.
Thank you.
We
It was an
want-
honor.
Yes.
So
was an
when's
honor
the
to be
album
here.
dropping?
What are you thinking
question.
of? Yeah.
I'm thinking the guys and I need to figure out which songs are not on it because I'm not
Okay.
advocating for all of the songs. You okay? I would say it should be out by March.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
The same
Right,
March.
right. Tentatively. Right.
Tentatively. Mm-hmm.
Well, please let us know so we can let the people know.
Yes.
Support
Yes.
you and love on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah,
Of course.
this has been great, Jay. Thank you
Yes.
so much for your honesty,
Yes.
vulnerability, your
Yeah.
accountability.
For
okay?
real. Y'all see this? I mean, I think that's the part that we hope that you guys take away too. It's like, it's okay to be you, whatever that means. It's okay. And as it relates to love, you know, I feel like when you find a partner that accepts the authentic you, that's love.
Yeah.
That's
And
real
let's
love.
you
Yes.
to Mexico.
Yeah, unless you go to Mexico and
I
be a
don't know
little
about all that,
crazy.
y'all. I don't know. To each his own, all right?
He's not giving. He's not budging on that one, Keshia. I can't do much about it.
I could not.
But you can be yourself, and I'm also encouraging you, whoever's listening,
Yeah.
be yourself because we need you.
Yes.
We need your art. We need your energy. We need the authentic version of yourself. Show up, show out, and watch the universe support you because that's what I've been feeling lately. Like, I've just been in the fitting room, just like being me, you know, finding clothes, you know, helping strangers, whatever.
Right.
Whatever that looks like for you, you know, posting your TikToks, posting your music. When you're yourself and show up authentically, that like attracts like-minded people. And that's why I'm on the show right now. Like, if I wasn't myself, I wouldn't have been in contact with Lawrence and Keshia and the All Love Network. So
For sure.
be you, watch the doors open up. The universe supports you. I love you.
Aw,
Yes.
thank
On that
you.
note,
You guys
yes.
heard it from Jay herself.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So,
mean it.
yeah.
Yes, so thank you. I mean, and on that note, it's a great note to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You know, we love and support you guys. We thank you for coming out and listening to our show. Obviously, you can find us at the All Love Network on YouTube and on Instagram. We really appreciate the All Lovers. That's what we call our guests, the All Lovers. For their constant support. We got some ride or dies in there. I live for the comments, so
Oh my
feel
gosh,
free to
the
jump
comments.
in. You know, this is such a supportive group.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for a lot more of our content. Support our friend Jay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys. Peace.
Bye.